Well, who didn't see this coming? How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the recent approval of a statue of Clarence Thomas being placed on the steps of the Georgia State Capitol in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, there was a Senate bill to do this, Senate Bill 69, and there was, I guess you would say, a debate in the Senate chambers, and a Georgia State Democratic senator said a few choice words about Clarence Thomas before, I guess, voting on it or not voting on it, whatever he did. Now, before I go any further, let's roll the clip. Of course, this clip will be in the description if you want to see it and hear it without my commentary. If you're on IG, link in the bio, find the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Anytime that we have a resolution, legislation proposing to place a statue of Clarence Thomas on this grounds, we cannot avoid that conversation, so I'm not going to avoid it either. In the black community, we have an expression, and I don't want to use this label too deeply here because I'm just trying to tell you what we have in the African American community. When we talk about a person of color that goes back historically to the days of slavery and that person betraying his own community.
Let's pause on that. Let's pause. So you're saying that Clarence Thomas betrays his own community and goes back to the days of slavery. But I'd like for this man to answer that. Mr. Emmanuel Jones, answer that question. How is Clarence Thomas betraying his own community? How is he going back to the days of slavery? You let me know that in detail so I can just figure it out. So I could be on the same page with you, boss.
We have a term in the black community. That term that we use is called Uncle Tom. And Uncle Tom is either a fictional or non-fictional character. I don't really know the origin of Uncle Tom.
I mean, you got to learn how to read, man. Like, for real. Like, you don't know the origin of Uncle Tom. You much older than I am. Why do I know that? You probably older than my father. You're older than both of my parents. You're about to be pawpaw age. You know the origin of Uncle Tom, and you're a sitting state senator in Georgia. I mean, come on, man. Learn how to read a book. And furthermore, I already knew you couldn't read from the beginning because if you read the book, Uncle Tom was the hero of the book, not somebody to be seen as a negative person at all. But because you can't read, you don't know that.
But it talks about a person who back during the days of slavery sold his soul to the slave masters. That's the story, the fictitious of the story of an Uncle Tom. So
it's just making up stuff. It's not even what happened. Just making up stuff. Like Uncle Tom's Cabin, read the book, figure out what happened, then come back to me. Holla at me when you read, like when you figure out the origin of that, then come back to me. But really, the whole origin of Uncle Tom is neither here nor there. I could talk about that, but that's not really the point. The point is that you just hate Clarence Thomas because he doesn't agree with you on certain things. If that's the case, then just say that. Why make it be this whole big black community issue? Just say y'all have different points of view.
Think about a person in the black community who's accomplished, but yet policies seek to subvert, some may even say suppress, the achievements and accomplishments of people of color.
Can you name those? Like this is a short clip, and I want to know if this guy named anything. You're talking about he's going back to the days of slavery. He's hurting his own community. He is passing certain things. He has certain policies. I'm not sure what kind of policy you have on the Supreme Court. I did not know they made laws on the Supreme Court bench. Okay, I thought we had separation of power in the United States of America, right? You have executive, judicial, and legislative. Now, as far as I know, Clarence Thomas is in the judicial branch, not the executive or legislative. But I digress.
I couldn't help but to think about that term.
You are a lawmaker in Georgia, not Clarence Thomas on the Supreme Court.
Expressing my dissatisfaction with this particular legislation.
So that's it. That's Georgia Democratic State Senator Emmanuel Jones talking about Clarence Thomas, calling him Uncle Tom. Now, let's go back a little bit. Clarence Thomas, obviously, is a Supreme Court justice. And it's so weird because guys like this would normally hail the accomplishments of black folks. Right now, during Black History Month, you would say, okay, Clarence Thomas, one of only 3 Black SCOTUS members ever. First, you had Thurgood Marshall. Then, of course, Clarence Thomas. And most recently, last year, Ketanji Brown Jackson. There's only been 3 in history of the US of A. Black Supreme Court justices. So you should celebrate that, right? If you're blackity black, pro-black, all this and that, and the third, why not celebrate him? Oh, it's policy. What policy on the Supreme Court? Do they make laws? I think not. But what about cases he decided on? Maybe like Roe v. Wade or something like that. Now, how is that really going to go against the will of Black people to have that particular issue go back to the states? How does that really make sense? It does not make any sense. That's a whole different issue, talking about abortion in the Black community, but I won't go down that road, but I digress. And the whole point is that this is somebody you should celebrate. He's from Georgia. He's from Savannah, that particular area. One of only 3 Black Supreme Court justices ever. Put him on the steps of the Capitol, right there in ATL, right downtown. I want to see that. Next time I go to ATL, I drive past Coca-Cola building. I drive past all the hotels. I want to see Clarence Thomas right there on the steps of the Capitol. That's what I want to see. Yes, I do want to see that. Why not? Okay, again, Supreme Court Justice from Georgia, do it. And by the way, that bill did pass, so we will see him right there, much to the chagrin of people like that can't read, who don't read, don't even know where the Uncle Tom thing came from. You know what? As I close, I'm going to say this. I think if more of us became educated, learn how to read, figured out what things actually mean, where things come from, we'd be a lot better off as a people. Like, totally. Not just in this particular issue, speaking about one man, Clarence Thomas, not just here, but in general, we'd be a lot more educated rather than just saying, oh, he was accused of this by this person. Talk about the resolution of that case. Talk about how there was no conviction. Talk about how you could be accused of a thing and it might not be true. We've seen that happen in history where somebody's accused of something and didn't do it and it had a very negative consequence. So it's so weird, but I think education is the key. And if you're uneducated and you behave as if you are educated, that's when things kind of go awry. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about what this state senator in Georgia said? Do you agree? Do you disagree? If you disagree, or if you agree with what he said, you think that Clarence Thomas is Uncle Tom, tell me why you think that he's a negative person. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I'm a big fan of Clarence Thomas. A brave man, came from humble beginnings, went all the way to the Supreme Court, very intelligent. I'm a big fan of Clarence Thomas. Can nobody tell me a thing about him? This is well-deserved, overdue, and anybody, in my opinion, from my particular point of view, if you hate on it, you're just a hater. That's just my opinion, though. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.